PMI-ACP exam practice questions with explanations are available in the video for you to study. During the initial phase of a project, the team completes a stakeholder mapping exercise. However, a significant corporate realignment occurs, resulting in the reassignment of several department heads. What is the most appropriate action for the project team to take? A. Distribute the current project vision document to the new leads and inquire about their intended level of participation. B. Initiate direct discussions and collaborative sessions with the new role owners to refine the stakeholder requirements and analysis. C. Record the organizational changes in the project log and adjust the internal team activity schedule accordingly. D. Request an official directory of the updated corporate structure to formally document the new roles in the analysis file. The answer is B. Agile methodologies place a premium on continuous stakeholder engagement and the use of adaptive communication channels. When organizational shifts redefine key roles, the team must proactively engage through two-way communication to align the product's direction with evolving business needs. Relying on passive methods like sending documents or simply updating internal logs fails to capture the nuance of new stakeholder expectations. Direct interaction ensures that the shared understanding of project goals remains intact despite structural changes. This approach minimizes the risk of late-stage requirement conflicts and fosters a collaborative environment essential for value-driven delivery. An executive sponsor attends a release planning meeting where the product owner is presenting high-level epics. The sponsor asks the team for a specific delivery date for all listed features. How should the team respond? A. Reference historical completion data from previous similar projects to provide an estimated finish date. B. Defer to the Scrum Master's technical expertise to provide a delivery commitment based on their estimation. C. Conduct a collaborative estimation workshop with the team to determine the relative size of the work. D. Select a subset of stories that fit the team's current velocity and present them as the final release scope. The answer is C. In Agile planning, delivery forecasts must be grounded in collaborative estimation performed by the individuals doing the work. Before committing to timelines, the team must first understand the effort and complexity of the backlog items through techniques like story pointing. Estimation is not a management function but a collective team activity that ensures realistic and achievable goals. Once the work is sized, the team can then apply their known velocity to provide a probabilistic forecast rather than a fixed deadline. This iterative approach allows for greater accuracy as more information becomes known during the project lifecycle. An Agile team is consistently failing to meet its iteration commitments and is struggling with internal accountability. What guidance should the Agile coach provide? A. Facilitate more frequent and meaningful interactions between the team and all project stakeholders. B. Assign a senior developer to take ownership of the technical design and documentation process. C. Collaborate with the project sponsor to establish a formal set of performance expectations for the team. D. Provide the customer with a definitive list of finished deliverables to secure formal sign-off. The answer is A. A lack of ownership often stems from a disconnect between the team's daily tasks and the actual value expected by stakeholders. By increasing the frequency of interaction, the coach helps the team gain clarity on requirements and see the direct impact of their work, which naturally builds accountability. Agile coaching focuses on improving team dynamics and communication rather than imposing top-down control or rigid documentation. When teams understand the why behind their work through stakeholder feedback, they are more likely to take pride in their commitments. This behavior aligns with the core Agile principle of business people and developers working together daily. A conflict arises between the development team and the product owner regarding the implementation details of a specific user story. What is the best way for the Agile practitioner to handle this? A. Act as a neutral judge, evaluate both arguments, and provide a final decision to the group. B. Instruct the development team to follow the product owner's priorities as they represent the customer. C. Challenge the product owner's logic in front of the team to expose potential flaws in the requirement. D. Facilitate a structured dialogue to ensure both parties understand each other's perspectives and reach a consensus. The answer is D. The role of an Agile leader is that of a facilitator and servant leader, not an authoritative decision-maker. Resolving disagreements requires fostering an environment of mutual respect where technical constraints and business needs are balanced through open conversation. Dictating a solution undermines the team's self-organization and can lead to resentment or poor technical choices. By guiding the participants toward a shared understanding, the practitioner ensures the team remains empowered to solve its own problems. This collaborative conflict resolution is foundational to maintaining high performance and psychological safety within the team. Near the end of a release cycle, the product owner realizes a critical feature is unlikely to function as intended, creating a high risk of project failure. What is the most appropriate next step? A. Authorize the immediate termination of the project to prevent further expenditure of resources. B. Proceed with the release of the existing features and schedule the fix for a future maintenance cycle. C. Analyze the current business value delivered and make a strategic decision to continue or pivot. D. Enlist external subject matter experts to intervene and attempt to resolve the technical failure. The answer is C. Agile projects emphasize empirical decision-making based on the continuous assessment of business value and risk. When a major failure is imminent, the product owner must weigh the cost of continuation against the benefits already realized and the potential for future value. It is often more agile to stop a project early if the remaining work no longer justifies the investment, a concept known as failing fast. This prevents the waste of organizational resources on initiatives that cannot meet their strategic objectives. Decisions should be transparent and data-driven, involving relevant stakeholders to ensure alignment with the overall business strategy. While planning the upcoming sprint, the team has already accounted for most of their capacity. How should the Agile practitioner help the team fill the remaining time? A. Direct the team to pick the smallest tasks available to ensure they finish the sprint on time. B. Consult the prioritized product backlog to select the next most valuable items for the team. C. Request the team identify the most technically simple tasks to minimize the risk of carryover. D. Encourage the team to stop planning immediately to avoid overcommitting to the iteration. The answer is B. Iteration planning is driven by the priority established by the product owner in the product backlog. Once the core goals are set, any remaining capacity should be utilized by pulling work from the top of the backlog, ensuring the team is always focused on the highest value items. This prevents the team from working on low-priority fillers just to stay busy. Agile planning is adaptive, allowing the team to adjust the scope of an iteration based on their historical velocity and the current business needs. By following the backlog's order, the team maintains alignment with the product vision and the customer's definition of value. A project's risk exposure has recently exceeded the organizational tolerance levels. What should the team do to address this situation? A. Incorporate specific risk mitigation tasks into the backlog and prioritize them in the next sprints. B. Add a standard percentage of buffer time to every user story to account for potential issues. C. Monitor the risks closely but wait until they become active issues before taking corrective action. D. Allocate exactly 20% of every sprint's capacity to risk-related activities regardless of the project's state. The answer is A. Agile risk management involves making risks visible and actionable by treating mitigation efforts as work items in the product backlog. When risk levels become unacceptable, the product owner and team must prioritize these tasks alongside functional features to reduce uncertainty early. Passive monitoring or simply adding time buffers, padding, are discouraged as they lack transparency and do not proactively solve the underlying problems. By integrating risk response into the regular flow of work, the team can effectively balance value delivery with project stability. This risk-adjusted backlog approach ensures that significant threats are addressed before they can derail the project. An agile team realizes that significant technical debt is slowing down their development speed. What is the best course of action during the next planning session? A. Request that the product owner prioritize code refactoring and cleanup tasks within the backlog. B. Schedule a separate cleanup sprint and ask the product owner to stop all new feature requests. C. Secretly include cleanup activities in existing user stories without informing the product owner. D. Defer all technical debt resolution to the final release phase to ensure the current deadline is met. The answer is A. Technical debt must be made transparent to the product owner so that its impact on long-term velocity can be understood and addressed. In Agile, quality-related work is not a hidden activity but a critical component of sustainable development that requires explicit prioritization. Collaborative planning allows the team to negotiate the balance between delivering new features and maintaining the health of the codebase. Ignoring technical debt leads to a death spiral of decreasing productivity and increasing defects. By including refactoring tasks in the backlog, the team ensures that the product remains extensible and valuable over the long term. How can an agile team effectively align its development efforts with the expectations of external stakeholders? A. Ask the product owner to create a comprehensive specification document for stakeholder approval. B. Conduct collaborative story mapping sessions to visualize the user journey and release priorities. C. Hold a formal kickoff meeting to define and lock down all team roles and responsibilities. D. Rely solely on the Scrum Master to ensure that all Agile principles are being strictly followed. The answer is B. Story mapping is a powerful visual practice that helps both teams and stakeholders see the big picture of the product and how individual stories contribute to the user experience. This collaborative exercise fosters a shared understanding of what is being built and why, which is far more effective than static documentation. It allows stakeholders to provide early feedback on the sequence of delivery and ensure that the most critical workflows are addressed first. Agile alignment is built through participation and transparency rather than through rigid contracts or process enforcement. This technique ensures that the team's output remains relevant to the actual needs of the end users. A project manager is setting up a new project that will utilize Kanban. Which set of metrics should be used to evaluate the team's flow and performance? A. Sprint velocity, burn down rate, and individual resource utilization percentages. B. WIP limits, the number of columns on the board, and the frequency of stand-up meetings. C. Lead time, throughput, and the consistency of meeting target delivery dates. D. The total number of story points, defect density, and the number of tasks in the done column. The answer is C. Kanban systems focus on the continuous flow of work and use flow-based metrics to identify bottlenecks and improve predictability. Lead time measures the total time from a request's entry to its completion, providing insight into the customer's experience. Throughput tracks the number of items completed over a specific period, indicating the system's capacity. Unlike Scrum, which relies on time-boxed velocity, Kanban performance is often judged by the stability and speed of the work items moving through the process. Monitoring these metrics allows the team to apply Kaizen, continuous improvement, to optimize their workflow and provide more reliable delivery estimates to stakeholders.